Mr. Yip Hon Weng.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, our workforce is aging rapidly. There's an urgency to review our retirement and re-employment or R&R framework to prolong our workforce longevity. This is important to drive economic activity. As our seniors live longer and healthier lives, their expectations for living standards will increase. Raising the R&R ages make it possible for seniors to stay productive and enjoy greater financial independence. However, it's not uncommon to hear stories of seniors facing difficulties seeking employment in their silver years. I have 5 issues to raise. First, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, we must ensure that senior workers are employed in meaningful roles. These will be jobs that match their skill sets, experiences, or interests. It's heartening to note that the employment rate of those aged 65 and above has increased from 27.6% in 2019 to 28.5% in 2020, despite a pandemic-ravaged economy. However, we need to go beyond numbers to get more insights into the employment landscapes for seniors. Can the Minister share data on the type of professions and roles that seniors are employed in? How many were successfully re-employed in different sectors in their previous roles? How many were re-employed in the same sector but in different roles? From my conversations on the ground, I understand that many employees who have reached the retirement age are actually not re-employed. Others were constructively dismissed by employers who deliberately reduced their working hours, responsibilities, and consequently their salary and benefits without prior consultation. This indirectly pressurized the senior to leave on his own accord. One Yio Chu Kang resident who was in a managerial position shared that he was asked to relinquish his position so that the company could groom a younger employee to take over. He thought this was a fair intention, but he expected to take on a mentorship role. Instead, they offered him an entry-level position that was completely unrelated to his previous job scope, skill set, and interests. Feeling insulted, he decided to resign and accept the employment assistance payment. It was worth noting that his HR manager did not even ask why he rejected the re-employment offer. When re-employment does not work out, getting a new job after 62 can be a tall order, due to the misconceived notion that older employees are less productive, amongst other things. In a February 2020 survey on ageism in the workplace, older workers were stereotypically ranked lower in alertness, ambition, productivity, and so on. They were ranked higher in susceptibility to accidents and resistance to innovation and change. These findings are not true across the board. They can severely dampen seniors' employability. Such beliefs may likewise ingrain ageism. They may lead seniors to sense that age, by default, limits opportunities. This stiffens their morale and desire to retrain or upskill for career advancement. It's interesting to note that a highlight of the MOM Labour Force Report 2020 was the increased number of discouraged workers concentrated in older residents. If employers do not change their mindsets, we will lose precious human capital. Second, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, both employers and employees need to adjust their mindsets and expectations about re-employment. Many companies still use a seniority-based wage system, translating to the belief that wages should rise annually. Correspondingly, older employees are perceived by employers to be more expensive. Last year, middle-aged and senior residents who have lost their jobs would tell me that they were more than willing to accept a pay cut for their new job. However, prospective employers have assumed otherwise, simply because of their age. The mindset that a wage system is necessarily based on age needs to be phased out. This is especially so in this era, where we expect to change careers multiple times in a lifetime. When we start a new job in a different industry with fewer responsibilities and relevant skills, we generally do not expect to command a similar salary to our previous job. Likewise, if a re-employment contract stipulates fewer job responsibilities, it is fair for the salary and benefits to be reduced correspondingly. Basically, we should pay an employee based on his worth. On the other hand, changing someone's responsibility without consulting them in advance may result in unnecessary misunderstandings and misconceptions. Companies should be upfront and discuss such issues with employees who are due for re-employment and ask about their plans and aspirations moving forward. The employee should also be consulted on his or her ability to cope with the demands of the position. If the company would like to offer the employee a different role, clarifying their intentions will go a long way to reduce misgivings and increase retention rates. There must be a way to implement and promote these conversations for more of our employers. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, my third point pertains to the timeline for raising the retirement age. The timeline from now until 2030 appears to be unnecessarily prolonged. Many things can happen in 10 years. The decision to raise the retirement age to 63 was deferred once because of COVID-19. How can we ensure that the plans to raise the R&R ages will not be affected yet again? As many companies will look to the government to take reference, what is the timeline for the civil service to implement the raise? Furthermore, what is next beyond 70 years old? Will we raise the ages again, or will we abolish the retirement age altogether? A number of countries, including Australia, Canada, the UK and the US, have no mandatory retirement age, with exceptions made for certain professions. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, my next point is on the impact of COVID-19 on workforce transformation. This has impact on the R&R framework. One such change is the acceptance of flexible working hours and arrangements. Some seniors may choose to work less or work from home more because they want to spend their retirement years with their family or to pursue their own interests. Others may no longer be fit to work long hours at a stretch, but are still willing to contribute. We should capitalize on workforce transformation to encourage and support employees who have job sharing and flexible working hours as part of their re-employment options. Have such workforce changes be taken into account for the R&R framework revision? The pandemic has posed a threat to senior workers in some ways. Some elderly frontline workers have resigned from their jobs as they were afraid to contract COVID-19. We have to press on to leverage more on technology to redesign jobs so that they are less labor intensive and can be done remotely. This will increase job inclusiveness so that they can be done with reduced risk and lower demands physically and mentally. I'm pleased to note that redesigning jobs at the workplace is amongst the tripartite work group on older workers' recommendations. Can the Minister share more details about this? Specifically, whether there's a specific timeline for the expected progress and what can employees expect from the redesigned jobs? Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, my last point is on CPF payouts and contributions. Many of my senior residents are concerned about the impact of raising the retirement age on CPF payouts and silver support. They worry that if the retirement age was to go up further, so too will the CPF withdrawal age and silver support scheme eligibility age. This worries the lower income residents who have less confidence in achieving the basic retirement sum or BRS by 65. Will the government increase the BRS? The current recommendations only mention the BRS until 2022. What will it be in 2023 and beyond? Furthermore, what are the government's plans to assist lower-income Singaporeans to achieve the BRS? In conclusion, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, raising the R&R ages must be accompanied by policies and mindset changes. This is to support Singaporeans to stay in the workforce for as long as they desire. In Yio Chu Kang, I spoke to two residents, both 62 years old and currently employed. Madam A will consider putting off retirement plans if her working hours can be reduced. She wants to spend more time with her family and her grandchildren and pursue her interest in calligraphy. The additional income from a part-time work would supplement her retirement savings. On the other hand, another resident, Mr. B, wants to continue working full-time to accumulate more retirement funds. He's concerned that his employer would not re-employ him on the same terms as before. He works in an office and does not believe his workload should be reduced or changed because of his age. The difference in attitudes between both seniors is a reminder that there is no one-size-fits-all policy. As a progressive society that strives for a senior-friendly workforce, we must avail more employment options so that seniors like Madam A will not have to choose between working full-time and leaving the workforce completely. Meanwhile, seniors like Mr. B should be able to contribute their fullest potential to the workforce for as long as they wish. This would be facilitated by raising the R&R ages. Their fears and anxieties about age discrimination are valid. We must continue to engage employers with the goal of eradicating ageism. Employers too must communicate with their employees to understand their wishes and to bring up the best in their senior workers. Finally, As our workforce becomes older and more age diverse, we need to encourage Singaporeans to continue working and to contribute meaningfully to society for as long as possible. We need to keep the support structures and the assurance that they will receive their CPF payouts. Retirement should not become a problem, but rather a milestone to look forward to. I support the bills. Thank you.